12 things I wish I knew as a new player in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. TCM came out about a month ago, and today I just wanted to share some key tips that I would have liked to know as a new player. Let's get straight into it with tip number 1, go the proficiency route. As a new player, you won't know the location for very many things and really just not much about the maps overall. But if you go with the proficiency route on the skill tree, you'll be able to use various perks that help you find exits and tools you may need to exit. These perks include Intuition, Knock Knock, and Tool Tracks. So in the character skill tree you are using, make sure to check out the proficiency route first. Next tip is keep Grandpa asleep. When you start off the game, Leatherface will be spawned inside the basement while the other two characters will be spawned outside of the basement. These killers cannot enter until Grandpa is awake. I know you may be tempted to just get out of the basement as fast as possible, making a lot of noise, but really you should try to keep quiet in the basement to avoid waking up Grandpa early and only needing to deal with Leatherface. Know that the killers can still wake up Grandpa by feeding him blood, and when you do open a basement exit, he will also wake up. Another good thing to know is that killers cannot chase through obstacles. While Hitchhiker and Sissy can go through crawl spaces and wall gaps, none of the killers can go through wells, dressers, or windows, so make sure to use obstacles to your advantage when being chased. Fourth tip is feed Grandpa. As I mentioned earlier, Grandpa can be awakened by getting him blood. You can acquire blood from killing survivors or finding blood buckets around the map. Some characters are better at harvesting blood, like Sissy, so it's better to have those characters focusing on getting blood. Also, when it comes to endgame, the higher level Grandpa is, the easier it will be to find victims with his sonar ability. Once Grandpa is maxed out, the victims can no longer avoid Grandpa's sonar ability by standing still, and you will be able to see the location of any remaining victims. I think most of you guys will know this as new players, but when Grandpa does do his little scream thing, you do have to stand still, or else your player's aura will be marked through the map for everyone else to see. Moving on to one of the most important things to know about this game, communication is key. As killers, you really need to communicate where you are chasing a victim or where the victims are trying to escape so other killers can help take them down. It is possible to be infinitely looped as killers like Leatherface and the Cook without ever being able to catch the victim, so you will eventually need another family member to come help you. Now, you don't have to talk in this game, but you can't really be mad when your teammates aren't doing what you want them to if you aren't communicating. Speaking about communication, BenQ recently reached out to me and wanted to share with you guys their new BenQ Trevolo U desktop dialogue speaker. If you are someone who is tired of wearing headphones or just wearing annoying earbuds for so many hours, you should consider checking out Trevolo U. It's not only great for meetings, classes, and podcasts, but it's also amazing with in-game communication. Not only does it help with listening to your friends with background noise cancellation, but it also helps with them hearing you with amazing voice clarity. And of course, it can still be used as a regular portable speaker with up to 12 hours of battery life and Bluetooth connection. Down below is the link to their speakers as well as their website. If you guys do decide to check out the speaker, I'd greatly appreciate it if you guys could use my affiliate link down below. Now, outside of the ad for this speaker, I've actually been using BenQ products for many years now and can say I've been very satisfied with their technology for gaming purposes and beyond. So I can highly vouch for BenQ, and I'd highly recommend you guys go check them out. Also, shout out to them for being the first true ad on my channel. Now back to the video and moving on to tip number 6. Obviously, when playing this game, you want to escape or kill all the victims. However, you should be completing various actions throughout your game so that you're not only helping to get the main objective, but also so that you can leave the game with some decent XP, win or lose. As killers, you may want to do nothing but look for victims, but really you should be doing other things while you're not chasing a victim. With some characters, you can destroy barricades to close off potential escapes, which of course in turn allows you to complete your main goal. You can also focus on getting Grandpa blood to make it easier to find victims. While playing as a survivor, you can disable traps, open up barricades, and even stun the killers and attack Grandpa for some XP. Another thing to know is that builds are respecable, meaning you can always go back and change your builds and you don't have to choose to commit to one thing. Don't be afraid to try a new route in the skill tree, and don't be trying to plan out your whole life on a build because you can always just respec if you don't like the one you're using. You don't have to commit to your first build or even your first character you choose. The only things that aren't transferred is perk and ability XP, but you can reset your skill trees at any time however you would like. The skill tree and perk system isn't meant for you to find a meta and play a specific way. While I know the skill trees can be confusing, they're designed to help you play the game to whatever style you prefer. So just don't obsess over it too much and have fun experimenting with different builds. Know how to escape. Now this one may seem a bit obvious, but what I mean is you should know the 4 possible escapes on every map, and how you can open up each type of exit. I have a video up which gives a general guide for all 4 exits if you still need to learn how to use all the exits. Make sure to check that video out, which is tagged at the top here and also in the description. Another important thing to know is map awareness is 90% of the game. It didn't take me too long to learn that a big part of the skill gap in this game is really just knowing the maps. As both killers and survivors, if you know where the nearest obstacle is or where the nearest exit and various hiding spots are, you will have a significant advantage over somebody who doesn't. Knowing where everything is key, and you'll learn the maps more with some playtime. Once again, I go over all the exits in my survivor escape guide video, and I'll probably eventually make full map guides which includes all the possible valve and fuse locations. Tip number 10 is try new characters. A huge issue with the game has been loading into lobbies. Now granted, as the game has been out longer, it has gotten better with getting into games. But still, sometimes you'll get lobbies where people are constantly leaving because they aren't getting their main characters. Which is why I honestly recommend that you guys sometimes try to play with new characters. Especially as a new player where you don't really have anyone maxed out anyway, it's not much of a difference. And also, you shouldn't be taking the game so seriously to where you can never try different characters and have to hold up a lobby to do so. And yes, this is mentioned here because I am tired of taking 15 minutes to find a game. So please, try different characters. Tip number 11, bone scraps. Bone scraps have multiple uses. You can use them to disable traps or you can use them to stun killers. Bone piles were actually recently nerfed so that you can only get 3 bone scraps per pile. But you should still make sure that you don't underestimate the bone scraps and grab one when it is free. And before we get into the last tip, make sure to subscribe for future content around TCM and other upcoming horror games. Something everybody should know going into this game is that tryhards are inevitable. I know a big thing going into this game was that it could be a huge relief from Dead by Daylight, but I just want to share that that is not the case, at least not completely. I mean, overall, people are still learning the game and there isn't any skill-based matchmaking, so it is definitely a lot less competitive than Dead by Daylight. But as this game gets older, the more and more masters of the game we will get. And really, I think with any game in this era of gaming, you will find people who are trying to find the meta and really just become the best player in whatever game it is. Whether it's by having crazy win rates or just leveling up as fast as possible, you are going to find people who are trying super hard to win, and those lobbies probably won't be that fun, but it's also inevitable with any game these days. I'm not saying it'll be every lobby you find, but of course there will be that one lobby every now and then where the victims escape in 3 minutes, or the killers are just a very strong team and have everything on lockdown. The only way to sort of avoid tryhards for good is to play customs or just play with friends. But if you want to check out my Discord down below, where we sometimes run some custom lobbies where you guys can join in when I go live. So yeah, make sure to check out the Discord. I hope you guys found this video useful. Leave some important tips you guys have found by playing the game down below, and I'll make a part 2 for this video if there's enough to share. Till next time, love ya, see ya.